Alright, the one you've all been waiting for, the exclusive club item from G.I. Joe, a real American hero, the figure subscription service. He's figure 209, which is, I guess, Series 2, the 9th figure. You've all been asking for this guy, Bombardier. That's right. Yep, nobody at all asked for this guy at all. Nobody. I dig it, only because of the figure mold. So yeah, I did have the first year FSS, and I didn't do the second one, and then I stupidly didn't do the third one. So I'm picking these guys up. Every now and then you can pick them up for like less than $30, which if you figure out tax and shipping on each figure, they come out right around between $28 and $31, I think, kind of depending on your shipping and all that. And how you purchased it, if you bought like the whole sub, or if you did like the monthly, it all kind of factors in. So this guy's one of the cheaper ones, and luckily one of the ones I really wanted. So he's pretty much the explosives expert, I guess, for the Action Force from Europe, right? So let me use my King of Firebox here to get this thing out of the way. Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Has his real name, Connor D. Tree. It's Connor the Tree. That's right. Some poses may require hand support. Now, I don't see a single doggone actual photo of the toy, so I don't know why that applies. But anyway, yeah. So we'll get this guy open and we'll check him out, as long as, as well as some of his mold brothers. So, and I can already see suffering from one of the symptoms of the mold, and that's the fact the belt does not sit correctly. It sits off to the side. So let's get this guy out of the packaging and check him out. He's been hanging around way too long. There he goes right there. So I can turn off the camera. There we go. Alright, here we got Bombardier outside the packaging there with his little experimental missile firing drone, I guess. His whole thing is he's experimental weapons, which on the back says like experimental ordnance. Says he's from the UK. Says he went to school for electronics and engineering, but then he would have done really well because he blew up like half the laboratory or whatever, so they moved him over to the explosive stuff with their, basically like their Department of Defense thing, it sounded like. Just paraphrasing the card there. You get the tracked little drone there with some painted treads, no mobility to this whatsoever other than the fact that it glides on a smooth surface. Okay, and a little hole there, a little nub there. And it locks in. Swings around 360 degrees, has a missile. Fires pretty good. What a missile detail. I don't know if this is a unique missile or not. I know you go on yojo.com, they got the Hoobits, whatever, and you can look up different stuff, but this may be unique to him, but I'm not entirely sure. You can see the little logos, ordnance things on there, and yeah, that's that for this accessory. He also comes with an additional weapon, which is this gigantic doggone gun. Did this thing come out in the late 90s or something, like the Valor versus Venom, or early 2000s? That's what it looks like it's from. That's what one of the Grand Slam figures came with the weapon. It was like just huge. I mean, this thing's like, I don't know, it's just crazy. But it's got a lot of detail on it. It has the top loading magazine there. Something that looks like a flashlight, or no, it's not a flashlight. What am I talking about? It has a bipod on the bottom right there. Now that he's totally hogging up all the focus. So we can get this in there right near, far. Okay. So yeah, there's a bipod that's like folded up right there. Too bad it doesn't fold down. That'd be kind of cool. Must be like a British version of like an M60, maybe, I'm guessing. Oh, cool looking gun. Kind of big though. And then he's got his rifle. Assault rifle that he was shown with, and I can't remember the doggone actual weapon this is patterned after. This is one that shows him on the card holding for the most part. And then just take a look at that real quick. Get it out of his little plastic hands. It seems kind of oversized. Once you actually get it in his grip, it's actually pretty cool. It has the rear-mounted magazine there. Cool. Pretty neat. Then we come to the figure itself, and he does have a gray stand, which is kind of like not the standard for these figures. It says Bombardier on there. It does the two pegs, which I always like the two pegs. And then back to the figure itself. The only other accessory he really has is his helmet here. which comes with a rare blue tinted visor, blue colored visor. Moves up and down on his helmet, sort of. But the one thing about these 25th and up figures is, like with the original line, it was like snap-on, stay-on weapons, and they had like a modular feature to where, like, if a person could wear a helmet, they could wear pretty much all the helmets for the most part, especially the earlier part of the line. And these are the worst. Or like you could like pop the helmets on the old guys, and they would like stay on. They were there, and these are just like, man, they flop all over. A lot of them don't fit, and I don't know. Just kind of disappointed with the whole weapon system. And the fact that they moved the hole in their back up here and all that. You can't put like older backpacks on it. You got to rely on the newer versions of the backpacks if you want to swap gear around, or just use gear just straight from the 25th and up line. Which, I don't know. The whole thing with the screw holding it together, and that was also your backpack hole, was ingenious, I think, for the time. Anyhow, he's got your standard. I'll take this off for now. Your standard 25th and up type articulation has like a ball jointed neck there, a ball hinge shoulder, a single point swivel hinge swivel, ball hinge, whatever you want to call it, elbow. It has a swivelly wrist, and this one does not have any kind of wrist articulation. It's in there pretty good too, actually, but it is a little flexible. It has some give in it. It has the upper torso waist swivel rocker deal that I just don't really dig. It's okay, but I kind of miss the O-ring style articulation was better. Nothing at the waist officially. And then you have like the ball in here, and if you look, this has got a metal, what do you want to call it? Metal joint in there, which is really cool. I'm glad they went ahead and did that, because you can see some figures went in with plastic ones, and they break occasionally. Which I can't think of any figures right now. Like the Marvel ones, some of the Marvel ones with the ball things, it's like that nylon, but I digress. Double jointed knee. It has like that ball hinge swivel foot, and a couple of decently made peg holes in his feet. Now, I've had a long history with this, not this character, but this type of figure. Way back in the day, like 1982, I probably had 2 or 3, probably at least 2, of the straight arm flashes. I love the fact of the laser trooper. I was into Star Wars and all that. And even a lot of people have kind of like discounted, why would you even need a laser guy in the G.I. Joe universe when they're always shooting laser? But when you're in 1982, way before the cartoon came out, and you're relying on the cards and the figures and your imagination to tell a story, which, the last generation or so have kind of missed out on that. You rely on information. So this guy's a laser guy, and everybody else is shooting like conventional weapons. They're using NATO small arms, this and that, or you have the odd occasional experimental type weapon. Otherwise they're using like real world weapons, and that was kind of the appeal, is that it was like just technology just around the corner. And then speaking of Flash, here's what the Flash character looks like, and they use the same mold, and that's why I bring him up. I really dig the mold on this guy. That's part of the reason I really wanted him, and who doesn't like a weapons expert, especially like an experimental weapons expert. But it's the same mold, the same helmet, same visor, just different colors. I don't know if I showed the back on this guy. But yeah, and the only thing different really is, I think the head's different on here. Let's see. I don't want to compare all these heads. There's like, he's got a family. Tell you what, this guy's related to a lot of guys. But yeah, they show it on the back there again, just to give you the whole thing. It has like the gray crotch piece and the red suspenders and all that. I think it's cool. He's part of the British branch of G.I. Joe Action Force, I guess. So then you got Flash here. So yeah, he's got the same mold. And then also from way back in the day, you had, well, let's go kind of like chronologically. So you got him. He's the newer figure. We'll put him back here by his card if I don't knock the camera over. Then you got Flash, right? And then using the same mold again, you got Grand Slam, which this guy in the old continuity, he was the guy who shot off the HAL, the heavy artillery laser. So it kind of associated this whole thing with like a laser kind of padding, like it absorbed the energy or whatever. That's what the visor was for, is that it would dissipate any kind of laser flash or whatever. That was my fan fiction for the G.I. Joe universe, right? And then also at the same time, Grand Slam also came out, and he came with the jump pack thing, right? So he has like a jetpack. So this guy's not only firing lasers, he has like the Steve Austin Bionic Man jetpack, but like 100 times more awesome because it wasn't covered in silver foil, and it also attached to a laser thing. And these guys are pretty faithful to the originals. So yeah. So now you got 4 figures on the same mold, and then additionally, for the new line when they came out into these other figures, Tripwire, who I don't believe he did have the same mold, but now he does. It's the same mold, it's the same exact mold, just recolored. Got the same pattern on there and all that stuff. The only thing that really changed on this guy was his head, and his boots were different. His lower portion of his leg down here where his boots are. So yeah, he's got the same cuffs and same forearms as everybody. So additionally, they also did another version of Tripwire. I think this was a Walmart version. This is like the updated 30th anniversary Rise of Cobra version. And he was, outfitted with a little drone and all that, which kind of goes all the way back to Bombardier here. Whew, still stacking these guys up. We had another version of Grand Slam, which kind of sucked because he was outfitted just like Flash, but in silver. So yeah, that's kind of weird. But he was also, that was the Retaliation version. And then as a Target exclusive, we had yet another Grand Slam, but this time with a blue metallic. And actually, I think the head on this is probably a little more realistic than some of the other ones. Just to show you. But unfortunately, that means his helmet doesn't fit for anything. It's just kind of like super crappy helmet fit. But not bad. So yeah, so these are all like all the modern figures that I have anyway. They use the same mold, and I think that's awesome because they're all characters that I really thought were cool as a kid. Grand Slam, Flash, Tripwire, and the fact they all have one of my favorite motifs, I guess, same sculpts, is really awesome for me anyway. So, getting it back down to good old Bombardier, who we were initially talking about in this, what looks like to be a 15-minute video. That should have been like a 7-minute video. So we got back to Bombardier, and that's why I kind of dig him. And that's why I give him this guy, cost aside. Now, the fact that these guys are kind of expensive, but they're not too hard to find. Probably like the worst one has got to be doggone CoverGirl, which is crazy. She's over $100, and I know I've got 2 of them. I know. And I have one for sure. But there's a second one somewhere. It's hiding in a box. I just got to find her. So I refuse to pay that $100 for her. But then also you got a couple other ones coming up that might be kind of expensive. But they get up in the $60 range, which when you compare to like third-party Transformers and all that stuff, it's not that bad. There's only like 12 figures a year. I don't feel the need to get every single one of them, even though I'm slowly getting every single one of them. And more than likely next year, I'm going to get a sub. Just because it comes out to be cheaper. I didn't this year because it's like, I don't want to spend that. And then they released like the two figures that I really wanted, that everybody wanted. They showed at the last, and I didn't keep up with all the figures they were releasing because I wasn't really digging the ones that they had. And doggone it, when you know it, I kind of wish I had a sub now. But I digress. Back to Bombardier. Giving this guy a good, solid, and part of it is because he does come with a lot of gear. And I remember as a kid, I loved when figures had a lot of gear. So Scrap Iron was one of my favorite figures. I must have had like 5 or 6 of those Scrap Iron figures from 1984. 84 or 85. I think it was 84. Because it came with a huge missile launcher. And so, given the fact that he has all this stuff, despite the fact he's an exclusive, give this dude a 9.0. I just love the mold that much. Love the articulation. Love the callback to the 1980s figures. Even though he's not part of the 50th anniversary line, he totally could have been. I'll probably set up a picture with him and the Coral that also came out from the first figure subscription service through the club. Yeah, so if you don't have one, you know what, I'm going to say you can pass, because I don't think this guy's that important character. But if you're building a Action Force team based on the modern figures, well, you got to get him. But yeah, even though he's a high-ranking figure for me, I'm going to say you guys can pass. I think he's one of those things where it's a personal kind of choice, and that's where the club kind of screwed us over and not giving us a choice, where it's shoehorning us into stuff that we may or may not want. Anyhow, for me, I think he's awesome. I think he's 2 thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Keep playing with your toys, because I do, and I'll actually be having this guy blow up some of his tanks off camera. So, yep. Thanks for watching, guys.